welcome to the Narrowboat that James built. Hope you're well, thanks for joining me. It's Tuesday evening and I am driving down the M3 on my way to drop off a little gift for our friend Carol. She commented on the channel a few videos ago, whenever it was, that she's going into hospital on Thursday for an operation, and she wanted a picture of me and the boat as a conversation piece. So that is exactly what she is getting. The road to a friend's house is never long. And whilst I'm down here, I will send you back to the boat because I need your help and advice on the stern area. Right, well, whilst I'm down here, I thought I'd explain to you what I've got to do about this rear deck area. There's a few things to bear in mind. So on the Springer, when it was originally built, the back deck came up to this level here, straight across from this one to there. So when you stepped off the gunnel, you stepped up by kind of 2 inches onto this level here, and obviously there was an access point for the engine. So you're well above the vent shaft, and yeah, it was around there. The thing is, at that point, you were standing bloody high up. I mean, you'd have to certainly duck under. I did see someone on a deck like that, and he had to duck under just a normal bridge. So that's no good. I don't want it that high up. So to have it any lower than that, though, poses a problem because there's this ridge here. So if I have it anywhere around here, in order to get a foot on there, it's not particularly easy. I mean, it's fine for me, but for kids or older people, that's not, it's just a bit awkward, a bit tricky. So that's not ideal. I can get around that by having like some kind of ramp, using scaffold boards or something like that, which obviously a lot of people do that. So I might do something like that as a solution. The other thing would be to cut away this area here on both sides, but in doing so, it's gonna allow water to penetrate in, which isn't that much of a problem because at the moment, there's a water issue, and actually that kind of features part of this explanation as what I've got to do with the stern, because stopping water coming into the engine bay is kind of critical. Ideally, you'd have big kind of steel boards to make up the deck. I'm not going to do that for various reasons. Firstly, the bits around the side to hold it in place, they're not good enough. They're not level either. But around here, they're all really worn away, so that's not good enough. And you need drainage channels and stuff like that, and it's just a bit of a hassle really, and cost-wise, it's a bit beyond me at the moment. So I'm going to go for, and also the other factor I need to do is here on the diesel tank. There's these 2 return and flow valves coming up here, which kind of sit well proud of this, as does obviously the Morso control. But yeah, I'm not going to have a floor which covers that, but certainly my floor needs to basically be above this, otherwise I'm going to have to do some cutting around or replacing this, and I'm not getting into any of that stuff, so I'm just going to raise the floor above it, which I need to do anyway because at this level here it's too low. It's too much of a step down, but also it's too low for the shaft, and it does make it slightly awkward for the kids to get on. So my plan is going to be to raise it up. The reason I've got this CLS here is because this is exactly what I'm going to use. The reason for it is because here there's no metal frame. I could get one welded on and have it over there, although it's not a particularly good fix over there, so I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to basically lay some CLS across in boards, in rows, and then put decking down on top of it. So the decking will go that way, and obviously these will go this way, and I'm just going to put quite a lot of these down, so there'll have to be one on this side of this one, kind of just basically fill it up with it, and that will raise the floor by enough to cover things like this, and it will help me get around this. I might just have to box that in, but this might feature part of a step anyway up to this level. On this side, certainly I can make a step here to come in to make that easy on that level. On this side here, it's not so easy because I've got a big drop where the steps are. So what I think I'm going to do is basically where this CLS is here, this is going to be the front of the step. So I could remove it and have the lower step here, but I think I'm just going to keep it like that and have basically, so you've got this opening here if you're coming in on the starboard side, and basically I'm just going to not let anyone come in that side there because, well, it's just too much of a drop. But yeah, and I've got that bit of railing still which I could attach onto that side to make it kind of hard for people to fall in the drop, but that'll be the plan. The other thing I've got to factor in is this door here. The other springers I've seen like this have got a different shaped gas locker, which basically occupies the space created by the void when the doors open, which I think I'm going to do. It means obviously having another gas locker being built, but that's no bad thing. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Dale's got to come anyway and do some other gas fittings, so him just to take out the fitting out of that locker and replace the locker is no bad thing. It's 120 quid for the new locker, so but it will be a bit bigger, but as I said, it will occupy that space, which gives me less of a headache to have to worry about, because when the doors open, I don't want like just a void there, because this is, you know, this is a fairly decent level seat, so it'll just make that slightly bigger as well. So yeah, that'll be the plan. And then decking going this way across, and I'll obviously varnish that and put it with sand, and so it's got a bit of a grip to it, but that'll be my plan. And then in terms of getting the water, keeping the water out, the only thing I can do is get a pram hood. I mean, it is the only way of keeping the water out of this. So I've got this thing at the moment, it's okay, but you can't obviously navigate with that on it. You can't use the space with that on it, so it's no good. So I'll have to bite the bullet and get a pram hood. I mean, a decent one's £2.5 grand, so they're not cheap. There's alternatives in terms of kind of DIY fixes, but it is a DIY fix, which I don't really want to do. But yeah, so that's the only way of really keeping water out of the stern, is by covering the stern. The advantage of a pram hood is obviously it means that you've got a much bigger space out here in the winter. You can put your wet gear in here, and it means you can navigate in the rain. So you know, it is a good space, and it obviously increases the value of the boat by quite a bit. Certainly a 42-foot boat, it does mean that this last 8 foot is actually kind of usable all year round, and it protects the engine and blah blah blah. So yeah, it's the way to go. So yeah, as I said, bite the bullet and I'll get that done end of the summer or something like that, hopefully ready for the winter. But yeah, so that'll be my plan with this. So I'm just going to basically fix these CLS battens into this steel here, and basically, yeah, just make it as sturdy as I can. The issue that you're all going to be thinking though is, what am I going to do about the travel of the gear lever, which obviously comes straight through into there. So if I move that back, you'll see it goes all the way forwards like that. Now this part here is just no travel at all in there. So basically I've got to adjust the piece of CLS so it's able to kind of move around this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a damn wide batten. It won't be this one, it's probably going to be a 4x4, and then be able to excavate some of it so it kind of fits around there, and it will give me enough room so the gear lever can travel up to there. So that'll get me around that problem. And then the reason why the deck boards are going to be going that way is because I'm going to need 2 of those kind of draft excludery type things with bristles on it going either side of this, so from back here all the way up there. So I've got a slit for the gear lever to go up and down through. But apart from that, that's the only other kind of factor to bear in mind. Obviously got the Morso controls, I've got out of the way, got the Morso controls here, so I need to obviously factor that in. But really what I'll do is I'll just build something around this using decking as well, so it kind of features part of it, have a ledge on top for beer, or maps, or well, no beer. And yeah, that's it, as long as there's a little bit of a gap at the back, so I can obviously raise the and adjust the throttle. I'll have to have some kind of gap here for the stop pull, so I have to work that out. But I mean, obviously that you can prepare yourself for using that, so I can have a little door to get into there. And then the other thing I need to work out is obviously just this compression lever, which basically is going to be some kind of pulley, which is going to come forwards up to here and maybe hug the gas locker or something like that, because it's going to be going in that direction. But yeah, basically that's the plan. That's the plan for the stern. I've got to put the battery box into there, fill the batteries up. But yeah, not that much else to do really, apart from that. But yeah, having the floor down is going to make just a massive difference. Getting on and off, it's just, you know, impossible. So, and then obviously I need some kind of hatch so I can access the engine, the alternator, things like that. But yeah, that should be quite easy. Just put that either on hinges or actually have a hatch that you can lift out. I'll work that out as and when the CLS is kind of all in place, but that's all quite straightforward to do. So yeah, that'll be a plan for the week. Really, because this is starting to do my head in now. But anyway. Well, I'm going to shoot back to London now, and I'm sorry, you're going to have to put up with more of the hideous shirt and shorts combo, because Dad and I are going to perform a track for Carol. So after 7 months of pressure, we've eventually caved and laid down a track. It takes a bit of getting used to for us, because it's a Neil Sedaka, which is not exactly our go-to artist, but there we go. Anyway, I'm off. Okay, that was nearly there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that'll have to do. Yeah. Yeah, well done. Thank you. Well, it was really fun seeing Carol last night. What a character. What great stories to tell. Needless to say, I think I surprised her. She hadn't seen the post online. So, in fairness, I only put it up 2 hours before I set off. So, I get there, I ring on the buzzer, and it automatically opens. So, she saw me in the reflection of her mirror. So, oh my goodness. So, yeah, it was really fun. I met her friend Sue as well. So, hello ladies, hope you're both very well. It was lovely to see you. And Carol and I shared a couple of glasses of slow gin. Well, I only obviously had one because I'm driving. Yeah, it was great. It's just, yeah, really nice to spend some time with her. And obviously Thursday's a big day for her. So I don't know when you're watching this, Carol, but I hope everything goes well on Thursday. Hope you get the results you want. And I'll be back to the boat on Friday. I got Friday off work, So I'm hoping to be back at the boat on Friday, get some painting done, and Carol said that once the boat's got its colours on it, she's got an embroidery company kind of set up in the wings waiting, so that'll be exciting. She also says there's 1 or 2 things waiting back at the wharf for me when I get back, so hopefully on Friday I'll get back to the boat still in a fairly decent state. And yeah, so the deck area, I hope I explained that as kind of fully as I could, but I think the only issue I've got really is the steps on the starboard side coming in there, so I might just either have to put a plank across it. I can easily box in on the port side, so that kind of is level, so I can be mindful of how I moor up, what orientation I am for when certain visitors come. So I guess if the kids are coming for the weekend, I'll put the step side on, but I guess, you know, that's something to think about. But yeah, so if there's any comments or suggestions about that, then yeah, that would be great to hear. And obviously I know about drainage, it's going to get wet in the bilges. I'll just have a pump down there. I've got quite a lot of experience now with wet bilges and pumps, and quite frankly, seeing 5 inches of water in the engine bay is not exactly going to faze me now. So it's going to be there. And actually, I thought one other thing I was thinking of is the steel bulkhead. Again, get your opinion on this. The steel bulkhead, but in the bilges, this is between the engine bilge and the boat bilge. If the boat's usually on a slant like that, let's say, if the boat bilge is filled with water and that steel kind of wall there stops it overflowing into the engine bilge, if I was to cut a hole, like a bleed hole at the top of that inside, you know, that kind of girder, if you like, in that bulkhead, if I was to cut a hole in there, so if the water got to a certain level in the boat bilge, it would therefore kind of flow out into there, so I'd visibly be able to see it. I know I'm going to have inspection areas anyway, I'm just thinking that's a secondary thing, but would anyone have any reasons as to why I shouldn't put a hole? I'm not talking much, I'm just talking kind of, you know, 15 mil, 20 mil, something like that, at a point where it would come in, and you know, it also kind of act as an overflow. So if the bilge did fill up, it's more likely to come through the hole than go through the floor. So anyway, just get your thoughts on that really. So yeah, back to the boat on Friday, and I should have most of the weekend there, and I think I've actually got Monday off work as well. Better check that, that'd be a result. Anyway, so that's it. So yeah, I'll enjoy your comments on this one. Cheers everyone, until next time, bye bye. Yeah, I'll have to do. Yeah. Yeah, well done. Thank you.